Congratulations, you have now finished a full week of creating community posts. By now, you will have created a total of 6 posts. These 6 posts will be 2 per community, so there'll be 2 for your first, 2 for your second, 2 for your third. And like with the Upwork retrospective we did yesterday, we're going to do a community post retrospective to see what works, see what we need to dial in on, maybe see some things that we can improve. So by now, you've gotten more experience improving one of the most important practical skills out there, which is the ability to identify and then solve real customer problems than most people get in many months. You basically spent the last 6 days grinding on identifying customer problems in each of these niches. You've literally been building out small automations, small little portfolio pieces, small little pipelines, even if it's just a collection of software platforms that you drag and drop things through. All of that stuff is really valuable. So what we're going to do now is this community retrospective, and we're just going to do them every week moving forward, just like we do with Upwork applications, and like we're going to do with cold email when you get to that point in about 10 days. So I mentioned this yesterday, but it's worth repeating verbatim. It's not enough just to do the same shit over and over and over and over again, because while that is very important, it's also important to every now and then consciously evaluate your progress. Because if you do the same thing every single day, and that thing is even like, I don't know, 10% under optimized or whatever, those 10% under optimizations, those are really going to kill your gains over the long run. So we need to tweak those. Likewise, if you could make something just 1% better every single time you do this, then by the end of the year, you'll be at over 100% better if you just do the math on the 1% added up over the course of the year. Now, the problem is most people try and do the iteration a little too quick. They'll experiment with something really quickly, strategy 1, and they'll give it a go for 24 hours or so, and then they don't see the results that they're looking for, and they're like, shit, that doesn't work. I got to try something different. And while iterating quickly is great, you can't iterate too fast because you need to make sure that you're actually getting enough data in your decision to make your decision meaningful. In the case of community posts, right, you're posting on a community that people may or may not be visiting every day. And because they're not necessarily visiting it every day, you don't know if really like the results that you get, the engagement, the DMs and stuff like that, you don't actually know if that's representative of what you can expect in said community. So life has a little bit of built-in lag. You should accommodate for that. And I recommend doing these sorts of evaluations on a weekly basis instead. You could, I've set this up here so that it's like Upworks on one day, community posts on another day, emails on another day. You could also just, after you're done with our program, have some sort of like weekly evaluation where maybe you just sit down and do some journaling on what you're doing, whether or not it's working right, whether or not there's something else that you can improve. But over the course of the next couple or 3 weeks or so, until at least the end of month 1, I just want you to stick to this process. It's going to make things really, really easy. Okay, so to do a retrospective on the community post specifically, you're going to follow a few simple steps. The first is I want you to open up a Google Doc or whatever note-taking tool you've been using up until now. And then I want you to open up all of the 6 posts that you made in new tabs. So, go find the posts if you don't have them already. If you've already been keeping track of them in your post calendar or something, that's great. But open up all 6 posts and then just look at the engagement of each one. So the likes and the replies, and then just like sort them basically top to bottom. And then just look at the top 3. For every one of those top 3, write down what you think went well and what didn't. Consider things like the title, the content, the interaction with commenters, the screenshot, if you included a blueprint or if you included a video or something like that. Just consider all of that and evaluate yourself on that basis. What do you think was good about it? What do you think was bad about it? Next, I want you to look at the other 3 posts at the bottom that didn't receive a lot of engagement. Write down your thoughts on why you think they didn't perform well too. So it could be as simple as the time of the day. It could be as complex as I didn't actually understand the real customer problem and here's why. Or maybe I didn't promote this post enough, or I didn't write this at the right time, or something along those lines. And then what I want you to do is to write down 3 to 5 things you want to try differently next week based off your observations from this week's posts. So it's just going to be, again, just like the Upwork retrospective, small little tweaks that you're going to make to these posts moving forward. I should really go into more detail, or my grammar was really shitty in that last one. I don't think people took me seriously, or, I didn't, my copywriting's a little poor, right? Little tweaks like that. I want you to create actionables for those so that next time you make a post, you'll be able to do so a little bit higher quality. And we're just going to pile on those 1%, 2%, 3% improvements every single time we do this. And then before you know it, your posts are going to be super high quality. All right, when you're done, I want you to create a school post with your learnings and the screenshots of the posts that you made. So when I say screenshots of the posts you made, I mean the community posts. The benefit to making this public and airing this within the group is that it will make it concrete. It'll motivate you because next time shit, I'm going to have to post this to a bunch of people. I'm going to want to make sure that this is high quality as humanly possible. And it's also going to help us track your progress over time. Don't worry too much about, like, one thing that people will say is like, oh, what if people copy me or something like that. I have never in my entire life worried about people copying me. Alas, many of them do, and it has not impacted me whatsoever because I always just keep my eyes forward. I keep my eyes on just getting better every day. The people that copy you are looking at your back, right? Whereas you are looking forward, far, far ahead from where they are. You don't have to, assuming that you implement and you execute on a daily basis, you don't have to be concerned about people copying you. It doesn't fucking matter. So feel free to share that all with the group. If anything, it's just going to motivate you to continuously improve the quality of your content, and constantly make it better, improving the marketplace as a whole. So yeah, feel free to share openly. I definitely like you too. And then nail this retrospective. Set a 60-minute timer and off to the races you go. Best of luck.